Durham got back on the winning track in the Royal London One Day Cup by thrashing Leicestershire by 5 wickets with 40 balls to spare in Gosforth. And what a start the home side made. Second ball of the match, Chris Rushworth had Mark Patini nibbling outside his off stump to be held by Paul Collingwood before a run had been scored. And the total was still on naught when the other Leicestershire opener, Cameron Delport, gave James Whale the first of his 4 wickets in what was just his 4th List A game. Graham Clark completed the dismissal with a simple take in the covers. 0 for 2 became 3 for 3 after 6 overs. Whale with figures of 2 for 1 after 3 as Adil Ali drove with no timing to offer George Harding the easiest of chances at mid-off. Batting looked nigh on impossible, and when Ned Eckersley perfectly picked out Rushworth at long leg, the visitors had stumbled to 13 for 4 at the end of the 8th over. A good crowd in Gosforth were loving every minute. Whale came off with figures of 3 for 16 after 5, and Rushworth at last conceded a boundary in his 7th over, having claimed 1 for 6 from his opening 6. Batting did get a little easier, with Mark Cosgrove showing his experience as he added 52 runs for the 5th wicket with Lewis Hill. But the Foxes were up against it again when the big Aussie on 37 slogged Collingwood out to Clark. Not the best of shots from Cosgrove, and it certainly didn't help out his team, who then slipped to 68 for 6 at the start of the 19th over when Tom Wells was LBW to Paul Coughlin for 3. At this stage it appeared that Leicestershire would struggle to conjure up any kind of total. The fight back was led by Hill, who did play a steady innings, this one of his 4 fours. He added 38 runs with Rob Sayer, who was trapped in front by Collingwood for 18 with a score on 106 for 7. Into the 32nd over, and that became 127 for 8. Hill's fighting knock ended by Collingwood. Keaton Jennings with the acrobatic take at mid-wicket. Hill was on his way for 44. The fact that the Foxes showed any kind of resistance was largely down to Zach Chappell, who at least prevented this contest being all over before people had had time to really settle in at the ground. He and Dieter Klein even managed to bring up the 200. A big swing of the bat saw the end of Klein for 26, Whale ending with the impressive figures of 4 for 34 from his 10 overs, Klein on his way with a total on 200 for 9. And after 11 more had been added to that, Leicestershire were all out in the last of their allotted overs, Gavin Griffiths hitting Coughlin straight to Jennings, a man who would have been very happy at the halfway stage of this match. However, he was out early in the reply, leg before to Klein for 12, but the result of this contest was soon put beyond any doubt as Stephen Cook and the informed Michael Richardson started to put bat to ball to good effect. Conditions for batting certainly seemed to have improved from early on in the day, but in truth, the visiting attack didn't bowl anywhere nearly as well as Rushworth and Whale had done when they had the new balls in their hands. It took this pair only 17 overs to add 91 runs for the 2nd wicket to already bring the runs required down to double figures. Richardson, loving his position at number 3, was at another 50 in the 23rd over, his latest half-century coming from 65 deliveries, from which he'd found the boundary on 7 occasions. He's a batsman arguably in the form of his life right now. It took a rather needless run out to end his knock on 51, but with Cook still in and getting to his own 50 off his 55th delivery, just 4 fours included in that, Durham was still right on course for an important victory even when Clark drove Klein to Delport. He was gone for 5, Durham now on 122 for 3. In came Collingwood, and he was soon doing what he's been doing for what seems like a lifetime now, nudging and nurdling the ball to the boundary. 33 were wanted off 13 overs when Cook was out for 67, chopping a ball from Wells back onto his stumps. The bowler giving his team just a glimmer of hope when 3 balls later, he also snared Cameron Steele for a duck, the Californian-born batsman leg before to an ideal Yorker from Wells. Collingwood, though, has been in this kind of situation so many times in the past, and he ensured that the door was soon shut firmly on the visitors. The all-rounder had earlier taken figures of 3 for 42 from his 10 overs, and he was now finishing the game off in style with the bat. A gorgeous drive through the covers, carrying the man who will be 41 later this month to the 50 mark for the 73rd time in his List A career. This one had used up 45 balls. and he was at the crease to hit the winning runs to end on 65. Another excellent all-round performance from a player who's given so much for club and country over the years. He's a man who clearly still loves playing the game, and the good-sized crowd in Gosworth were happy that he's still playing for the county. So that was 2 points firmly in the bag, Durham ending on 215 for 5, 2 balls used of the 44th over. The damage done early paved the way for the rest. Up next, it's back to Emirates Riverside for another one-day cup match against Northamptonshire on Sunday.